yesterday I talked about all that snow and how beautiful it was. Yeah, it was. But oh boy, was it heavy. I didn't shovel anything yesterday because silly me, thought that it's going to melt today. It didn't. It was so heavy that it just kind of like packed itself down into chunky, chunky ice. So I went out thinking I was just going to shovel a little pathway so that my husband's caregivers wouldn't hurt themselves trying to get in the house. And I'm such a perfectionist. I was like, I can't do that. I have to do more. But I went outside wearing a t-shirt and just lightweight pants and tennis shoes. No coat, no hat, no gloves, because it was nice and sunny, right? So I started shoveling, and the more I shoveled, the more I realized I needed to shovel. And then I had to clear off the wheelchair ramp, the 92 feet long, 92 by 4 wheelchair ramp. Then I had to clear off the railings because those had to be safe. Then I had to get the driveway. Then I had to clear off chip the ice off of all of those motion-activated solar lights that line the walkway. Because when the caregiver leaves, at the end of the day, normally it's kind of dark because they tend to come later in the afternoon, and it gets dark early still. So I wanted them to be able to charge up during the sun tomorrow because the caregiver comes back tomorrow. Hopefully they will have our road plowed by then. It still hadn't been plowed as of like 4 o'clock today. So, yeah, we won't be videoing me trying to stand up from this seated position on the floor because it's probably going to take me a few minutes. Anyways, it was nice to be outside. I love shoveling snow, believe it or not. It's a fun way to exercise to me because you have like demonstrated progress and you're getting a visual reward for your work, so to speak. I think I mentioned this before when it comes to work preferences. My work preference is called a concluder producer. So I like to solve problems. I like to come up with answers. I like to figure things out, and I like to get results. So shoveling snow fits that bill. I kind of do the same thing when it's cleaning or whatever. When I get stressed, I clean. Just ask my family. Because you see immediate results and right in front of your face, which is one of the things that has made this business building process a little bit challenging for my psyche, because I've been doing a whole bunch of work and spending a lot of hours learning and putting the pieces together and building things, but the fruition of it still hasn't happened. So I'm still in so first I had to till up the ground, use another farming analogy. First I had to till up the ground. I had to pull out a bunch of weeds out of my own self to clear myself for some things to get me ready for even being a business owner. So I had to do the weeding, and then I had to do the plowing to sort of turn up the soil and get things ready for seeds to be planted. And if you've ever done any plowing of any kind of like tilling a garden or plowing a field, it's kind of hard. It's hard work. And you're not getting any results for your work really, aside from seeing that you've turned over the earth and that you found a bunch of earthworms and yeah, maybe got a sunburn in the process, dug up a bunch of weeds. So the tilling and the weeding process to get ready for planting sometimes isn't all that rewarding, if you will, but it's part of the process and it has to be done, right? So you're not going to plant something if the dirt's rock hard. You need to till up the soil. You need to prepare the planting bed. So then the next process is choosing the seeds that you're going to plant, right? Am I going to grow corn? Am I going to grow sugar snap peas? Am I going to grow cucumbers, tomatoes, potatoes, watermelon? And then depending upon what you're going to plant, that just determines, how you're going to plant it and where you're going to plant it. So anyway, so I've been in the seed planting stages of this business, and so that part's been a little less arduous, but still a little mysterious, because again, there hasn't been a harvest yet. But that's okay, because the harvest is coming. You know, you plant a garden. If you planted a whole garden, you're pretty much assured, I think, at least that's been the case for me, pretty much assured that plants are going to spring up eventually, right? You know, you water them and make sure that you put them in the right place, and you gave them the right fertilizer and water and place to grow and enough sunlight depending upon the type of plant that you're growing. And they do eventually sprout. And once they sprout, depending upon what kind of plant they are, we talked about before, probably a month or so ago, about sowing and reaping. So you can expect that the plant will eventually grow, and as God designed it, as plants grow, they produce seeds. So one seed gets put in the ground, and that seed actually has to die. So that seed then becomes the thing that grows into something else. And that thing that grows then produces lots of seeds. Talked about a kernel, an ear of corn. How many kernels are on an ear of corn? And each kernel is a potential new corn plant. I think I beat that analogy to death in that video, but anyways. So I'm still in the, I've planted seeds, and now I'm in the watering and weeding and tending phase. And it's been kind of fun. I've finally got to the point where I'm starting to feel like there's been some fun, because I'm meeting people that have similar interests and values that I have. And that's pretty cool. So building a little community of like-minded people, and for me, that's the like-mindedness is faith, family, and freedom. So tonight I did a live training on, it was Freedom Week here in my group, and so we did a little bit of training about the Constitution, which was always refreshing for me, because every time I teach something I learn more, because I feel like, well, if I'm going to teach this, somebody's going to ask me a question, right? I need to understand it and be able to know it, so, but that's always good for me. So anyway, tonight we talked about a couple of parts of the Constitution, and then started talking about the Convention of States. So anyways, it was a good day. I got some outdoor exercise and some natural vitamin D and some sunshine, and I almost froze my hands off. Yeah, when I came back in, I couldn't feel my hands. So it took a while to thaw them out. But anyways, it was a good day. I hope you had a good day too, and that your next day is just as good or better. And even more than that, I hope that you are striving, just as I am every day, to just be a little bit better of a human tomorrow than I was today. Because we can all grow, right? The growing analogy again. Anyways, take care. God bless.